Alright, guys, I'm back with another chapter in Numbers. We're in Numbers chapter 25, where the header reads, Moab seduces Israel. And we'll get right into it. While the Israelites were camped at Acacia Grove, some of the men defiled themselves by having sexual relations with local Moabite women. These women invited them to attend sacrifices to their gods, so the Israelites feasted with them and worshipped the gods of Moab. In this way, Israel joined in the worship of Baal of Peor, causing the Lord's anger to blaze against his people. The Lord issued the following command to Moses: Seize all the ringleaders and execute them before the Lord in broad daylight, so his fierce anger will turn away from the people of Israel. So Moses ordered Israel's judges, Each of you must put to death the men under your authority who have joined in worshiping Baal of Peor. Just then one of the Israelite men brought a Midianite woman into his tent, right before the eyes of Moses and all the people, as everyone was weeping at the entrance of the tabernacle. When Phinehas, son of Eleazar, and grandson of Aaron the priest saw this, he jumped up and left the assembly. He took a spear and rushed after the man into his tent. Phinehas thrust the spear all the way through the man's body and into the woman's stomach. So the plague against the Israelites was stopped, but not before 24,000 people had died. Then the Lord said to Moses, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, and grandson of Aaron, the priest has turned my anger away from the Israelites by being as zealous among them as I was. So I stopped destroying all Israel as I had intended to do in my zealous anger. Now tell him that I am making my special covenant of peace with him. In this covenant, I give him and his descendants a permanent place to the priesthood, for in his zeal for me, his God, he purified the people of Israel, making them right with me. The Israelite man killed with the Midianite woman was named Zimri, son of Salu, the leader of a family from the tribe of Simeon. The woman's name was Cosbi. She was the daughter of Zur, the leader of a Midianite clan. Then the Lord said to Moses, Attack the Midianites and destroy them, because they assaulted you with deceit and tricked you into worshipping Baal of Peor. And because of Cosbi, the daughter of a Midianite leader, who was killed at the time of the plague because of what happened at Peor. Well, that one was short and sweet. That was chapter 25. And I don't know if it's just where I'm at with my walk with God, or if it's just where I'm at in my personal and or professional life, but it is super discouraging to continue to see people make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. Now, I know in this transition we are nearing the end of the 40 years that they were in, I don't want to say exile, but to some extent they were in exile. They were still, I don't want to say they were in God's good graces, but they were still under his protection and blessing. They had cursed themselves, really, an entire generation by simply not following what God had set them. And you'd think with 40 years of an entire nation learning the same lesson, that they would simply adhere to God's instruction and God's expectation with just greater discernment. I still get frustrated because whenever I have those reflections, I identify with making those bad choices too. Not the specific ones as far as, sleeping with other women, but that the flesh desires selfishness and laziness and gluttony, because all those come easy. You do not have to, work at those things. You're naturally those things because we want what we want. We want it right now. We want more than we deserve, and all these things. And to see an entire nation continue to be brought back from the brink of destruction, brought on by their own hand. Some people might read these passages and be like, wow, God's such a bully. Say, is he? I couldn't imagine providing everything that I had, that God has for these people, and protecting them from themselves, and protecting them from Egypt, and saving them, and doing all these things, and sending people after them. And he sent prophets, and they'd kill them. And he'd do all these things, and he still took care of them. I couldn't imagine seeing people continually fall and make those same mistakes and having such strong love for them. But that's what he does for us. And so in my desire to want to emulate, I really, 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 really try really hard to love everybody to a fault, the way God and Jesus would intend me to do. But man, some people make that really hard. And so I imagine I make it difficult on some people as well. I don't claim perfection, far from it. But when you're trying really hard, some people just make it way harder than I feel like it should be or has to be. And so I appreciate that. I can appreciate while the cost of their sin, it cost them their life, the way God explains it to us. Seeing people, while it seems pretty violent and abrupt, the man that took charge say, no, he's not supposed to be doing that. In fact, when he does that, he's defiling our God and defiling our people. To immediately rush after someone and spear through them, spear through two people, and not like spear like WWE, but with a weapon, pierce two bodies out of just, I mean, what would you want to say? Maybe righteous indignation? I don't know, maybe. But to feel so strongly to immediately take a life. And it's so difficult to read through these, and when predominantly in my life I've read out of the New Testament, and so to see the source of the things that are referenced from the New Testament to the Old Testament, it feels so much fire and brimstone. But when you read through it and you read God's intent and expectation and the calling that He has on people's hearts, to see them continue to disobey, it's disheartening and confusing. And so I guess I'll leave that with that. I'll continue to reflect and keep growing in my faith and keep learning and loving. But on that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll be back for chapter 26 of Numbers tomorrow, where the header reads, the second census of the nation. And on that note, have a good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.